Just wanted to hop on today and give a little message of encouragement. And I wanted to say this: Jesus is returning. Yep, that's the truth. First, there's going to be a rapture. And the rapture is for the church, and it's for all born-again believers who have been saved by grace through faith, who have repented, who have been forgiven, and have surrendered their lives to God. They will be caught up to be with Jesus. The rapture is going to happen. I know that some people doubt it, and there's a lot of people who like to call us foolish for believing in it, but the rapture is going to happen, as Paul describes in 1 Thessalonians 4, or as in 1 Corinthians 15. We will be changed in a twinkling of an eye from perishable to imperishable. And yes, it's true, we do not know the day or the hour. This shouldn't stop us from proclaiming this truth, even though others may mock us, as it says in the Bible, sadly. It will be mocked that we've been saying this for thousands of years and it has yet to happen. Even those in the church, sadly enough, mock us for believing in the rapture. But the disciples, the apostles, the early church, they all believed that they would see the rapture in their lifetime. And listen, there is no shame in believing that it will happen in your lifetime. There is no shame in telling people about the rapture, telling people about the blessed hope of the rapture, as it's called in Titus. I mean, it is a promise from Jesus. Jesus said in John 14 that he is preparing a place for us and that he'll come and take us to him, that we will be where he is, right? And so in that we have hope. And then after the rapture comes the tribulation, which is a 7-year period of hell on earth. And no, we are not in the tribulation yet. I know that many people think we are because of how bad things seem. And I am actually encouraged when non-believers come up to me and talk to me about the times in which we live and they think that we are in the tribulation. And I'm encouraged because what it means is they're paying attention. And they're paying attention a lot more than some believers I know. So anyway, we are not in the tribulation yet. What you are seeing and what's going on around us outside right now are just the birth pains. It tells us in Matthew 24, Jesus said this. He says, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that you're not alarmed, for this must take place. For the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. And all these are but the beginnings of the birth pains." And as anyone knows who has children, birth pains get closer and closer together and more rapid as you approach the actual birth. So yes, the world is evil and lawlessness seems to abound, but this is not the tribulation yet. So if you think this is bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. Now, after the tribulation, you have the second coming of Jesus. The rapture is not the second coming. They are two separate and different events. The rapture is when we are caught up in the air to be with Jesus, when Jesus comes for the church. And the second coming is when Jesus puts boots on the ground. All right? So the rapture is when Jesus removes the church, and the second coming is when Jesus returns with his church. So all of this to tell you is that as we get closer to the day of the Lord, as we get closer to our rapture, and we as Christians then should be living a life of anticipation and preparation. We should be ready to leave at a moment's notice, right? Living in the light of imminent return, in the imminent return of Christ Jesus, as I've heard it say, which is why we teach on such things, which is why we teach on the rapture and the second coming and the end times, why we continue to talk about the signs and the times in which we live. We teach this to prepare you, not to scare you. So when we teach on these things and we give updates about the current events and the signs and the times, this is because we want you to be prepared and ready. We want Christians to be awake and sober. And for those who haven't given their lives to Jesus yet, we want them to come to Christ because we want everyone to be awake. And it's true. Like I said, we don't know the day or the hour. We don't know even if it'll happen in their lifetime. We're not setting dates. But we are proclaiming the truth, which is there will be a rapture. And there will be a second coming of Jesus. And it says in Luke 21, another thing that Jesus said, it says, "Now when these things begin to take place, straighten up and raise your heads because your redemption is drawing near." And if you aren't aware of what to be paying attention to, then how will you know if you've seen them? Right? And so that's our job. Our job as pastors and teachers is to teach on these things so that when these things begin to take place, you'll notice it, you'll understand what they are, and you'll straighten up and raise your heads, understanding that your redemption is drawing near. You'll be prepared. So I, for one, personally, will not be shamed, nor will I be ashamed for helping people understand the days in which we live and urging people to wake up. It says in Romans chapter 13, verses 11 and 12, it says, "Besides this, you know the time, that the hour has come for you to wake up from sleep, for salvation is nearer to us now than when we first believed. The night is far gone, the day is at hand, so then let us cast off the works of darkness and put on the armor of light." Well, I'm just here to tell you really quickly this morning that the hour has come. So wake up. Soon and very soon, we are going to see the King. God bless.